What's up, guys? Welcome back to another TCGScrubs podcast. I'm Oscar, here with Joe and Colin, as usual. And welcome to another podcast. Don't forget, if you guys want to check out Happy Little Hug Factory, you can find a link in the description below. Everything you do through that link will help support the channel and everything that we do here. You guys can find singles for the new set. And I'm sure sometime soon, I think Colin will communicate, maybe find out some more information. But I'm sure pre-orders for the new AO3 set should be up, or even better yet, the Ghost in the Shell set should have some pre-orders, I'm sure, sometime soon.
Yeah, they actually have pre-orders up for AO3, so you guys can go and pre-order that right now. Last I checked, they didn't have pre-orders up for Ghost in the Shell set, but it might be they're just setting it up right now. So I would expect that pretty soon, since that comes out before AO3. And like Oscar said, they have singles for the new set, and they also got in a small shipment of Advent of the Demon King. I'm not sure if it hasn't come yet, or if it's going to be sold out. I don't know, but you should check their website and see if it's there. They're going to get those booster boxes in. That's the box that had IU and Wilser and all that in there, and they're going to sell them for $30 a box, so get that while you can as well. And they'll also be getting in a second shipment of AO2, the set that just came out. So if you guys missed out and were worried about not being able to get boxes or having to pay outlandish prices for them, they are going to be getting another shipment in of that, which is pretty awesome. So keep an eye out for that, for when those might come in on their website. And make sure when you make your purchase, click the link in the description before you make the purchase all in one go. So otherwise they won't be able to know that we sent you over if you click on it and then buy it the following day or something like that.
Yeah. And you also head over to patreon.com/TCGScrubs where you can become a patron. We try to do content over there. We do have the Patreon podcast, which usually comes out at the same time as the main podcast over there. And hopefully we get some gameplay soon. I know Joey will be out in Texas in a couple weeks here. And I told Colin I wanted to film some gameplays with you, which would be a lot of fun. We also haven't had gameplay on the channel much at all. We've been really busy.
Well, yeah, Oscar got a whole weird schedule, and it's been busy at work, but also my side job is really busy just because of events that are happening, so should slow down in a couple months. Actually it'll slow down a little bit here, but I'm hoping to get more on track with some of the stuff, more video stuff, but yeah.
All right, so I had a section of announcements that we can kind of go over. I'm going to give Colin the last one, and I'll go over the other ones here real quick. One was Ethernia, which you guys remember Colin did an interview with the creator of the game. Yeah. The Kickstarter launched, so you guys can check that out. If we can remember, we'll try to put a link in the description so you kind of just go there directly. If not, just search Ethernia card game Kickstarter. I'm sure you'll find it. But that took off. They
actually have really cool rewards. Like, you can get the base set for $25 for $100 or $105. You get the base set, and you get one of each of the champions as a metal full color card, which I thought was super awesome, in addition to a playmat and stuff like that for that tier. So I was like, oh, for the price of normally a booster box, you get the course. If you guys don't know, it's a predetermined set. It's not like a booster box. You get all the cards you want. When you pick a champion you want, you buy the box, and it comes with all the support cards for the champion. And the gameplay, if you like MOBAs and League of Legends, is very similar to that. I'd recommend checking out the interview, but I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna wait to see how much extra money I have, or I got some cards.
That's kind of the good news of it is it has 28 days left to go. You can go and support the Kickstarter now, and you won't be charged to the actual end of the campaign.
I always forget about that with Kickstarter.
Yeah, so you can actually jump on now and then just make sure you have that money in line for when that building day
comes. I have such a bad memory. I'd prefer if it charged me right away, because I'll be like, oh yeah, charge me, and then a month later I'll be like, oh no, why'd I get the $300 tier? Oh no.
Gio's like, we did it. We finally got him to say that on video. That's the whole point of me starting this channel, is to get him to admit he has a bad memory. We're done.
I admit I have a bad. The problem is Oscar doesn't admit he has a bad memory, because he's just really good at lying about having a memory of stuff. It's the only difference between us two. So. I think Oscar and I have identical bad memories, just Oscar's a way better liar than me.
And I just want to admit to Colin. That's all it is. I've told Melissa I got a bad memory. I was even told her I'm probably just like Colin, but I'll never tell.
And see, the problem with Melissa is she's not a good judge, because she hates me. She just is like, yeah, it sounds right to Oscar, no matter what he says, no matter how outlandish he is. Like, yeah, that's right. So that's why we need to resolve a bunch of stuff when Joey comes to visit.
If we remember other things. Moving from there, we did have alternate souls info, and the spoilers have actually been starting up for the starter decks that they have for that game, right?
Yeah, they're doing daily spoiler cards, so that you get to finally see some of the stuff that you might have seen in our video. If you haven't, go check out our alternate. You can search Alternate Souls on YouTube, and I think we're one of the top results that come up, where we do an explainer, and then we actually have a gameplay where we use proxy figures instead of real ones. And you can get an idea of what some of the cards and stuff were. But you're seeing some of those spoilers, which is basically we're using art and card designs from Force of Will, since EG does have the rights to those. And the assumption is if this takes off, they'll start to be commissioning actual new art and everything, but this is sort of hopefully to get it off the ground and all that.
Yeah, now that gameplay we should probably do again sometime soon, right? Maybe some slight alterations to how something was done in there.
Yeah, and I found out it wasn't all our fault because there was like some not fully explained stuff in the rule book, so it wasn't all our fault.
I'm sure it wasn't, Colin.
Yeah, but I'd keep on the lookout for. They should be at some point releasing a tutorial video. I heard it's like really well done. It has a really high production value, so I'd keep an eye out for that from Official Alternate Souls. Be sure to like their Facebook page, though. I'll try to remember to put a link below for that as well.
And then if we can, we'll make sure to refilm a gameplay, especially since we'll have all the figures, because you have all the figures that we were trying to proxy.
Yeah, and it was cool, like, because I usually hate editing gameplay, but that one was fun because I actually got to work with, you actually got to edit two cameras together and stuff, so it was actually involved rather than me just, like, scanning through, waiting for Oscar to be like, wait, cut this. You know, so it's a lot more fun to film those, I think, and we do have the stuff to film it. So.
All right, next announcement up was the Vite Ramen kind of circuit series that's being run. They have the next wave that you can pick up. I believe it's on their website. I'll see if we can get the information again so you get direct link. But check out the Facebook groups. Check out their Facebook page. You can find a lot of the information there. But I just wanted to bring it up because Dallas, or Richardson, Texas to be specific, is actually going to be running the first one I think I've seen advertised for the new set. And that's going to be Sunday, March 22nd. I think at 11:30 a.m. is when it starts, or 11 a.m. And we're going to go. The three of us will be there. And Joey will be in town for that whole week. It'll be spring break, so he'll be with us. And we're all going to
super coincidentally. Spring break has nothing to do with it for me, but I think like Colin and Oscar have some days off. Anyways, yeah, I'm super excited. Oscar and I are like training like mad now.
Have you guys agreed to that?
Well,
not really.
We're training like mad, as in like 5 days ago. We're like, we need to train like crazy, and we haven't trained since then, or practiced.
Yeah,
I should say. Training sounds weird, but we haven't practiced in a while.
This is our comeback arc. But yeah, no, it should be really fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And we'll probably go into roundtable if you guys want to meet up with us for that or anything like that. So.
Oh, hey Colin. Speaking of roundtable, I'm getting roundtable delivered tonight.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Just figured I'd just flex a little bit on you.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's okay. I got a little bit of my fill.
It should be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure what Colin's gonna run or what I'm gonna run. I've been tinkering.
I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna run.
What are you gonna run? I'm saying I didn't know what you're gonna run. What are you gonna run?
Oh, probably whatever requires the least effort for me. So probably machines. Because I just don't have the money to build a new deck, so I just gotta go with an old deck. Because I didn't realize how expensive this game got. I haven't looked at singles in a while, and I looked at singles and I was like, oh. So I'm just not going to build new decks anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't try either when we're like going through what we have, and you're like really like, oh yeah, I'm just going to modify whatever I already got. Here, take all these and we'll trade them.
Well, that's usually how I am. I usually, if you guys notice, when we get into a cluster, I usually pick a deck and stick with it for the most part, unless I'm like inspired to switch, like I was with Pandas and stuff like that, partway through. And so it hasn't really hit me with that, like with the new machines or anything. If Ghost in the Shell is an entirely new archetype that doesn't mesh with old machines, then I could see myself like switching with that just because of Ghost in the Shell. But usually I stick with one. But usually I have ancillary decks that I'm just building randomly that I like will build and then give up, like my Fuji deck and stuff like that. But I can't do that anymore. So I'm even more like digging into the deck I have built of machines and sticking with it. And then hopefully by next cluster, these card prices have gone down enough that I can pivot to new machines or some variant of that next cluster. But for now, I'm safe until rotation.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but he kept going.
I'm sorry, I talked on a podcast. Shoot me in the face,
No.
jeez.
I had a train of thought, and I was gonna go somewhere with it, and I don't remember no more. But no,
About
it
deck
should,
building or testing.
Yeah, it's pretty much just me and Joey are really trying. I'm calling too, right? You want to play test with us? Get some games.
No,
in?
I do want to play. Yeah. When I get spare moments, I'd like to play some more to figure out what cards of the new cards I actually want to slot in, which do and don't work, and stuff like that. Especially like Motoko and stuff like that, because that's just going to be a fun card to do. I mean, it's super strong, but like it's a fun mechanic, I think.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about it. Like, if I do machines and I run any of those like promos, I've actually just given you all my promos that I've ever gotten from the starter decks. I actually don't have any of them.
You can have, I got a separately. I got a play set of them, so you can have them.
Of the newer ones, right? But not the older ones.
Yeah, the newer ones, not the older ones. But the older ones, I think the non-foil are pretty cheap, so I can probably pick those up.
Okay. And that's kind of the announcements. I know you had one that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I like how the beginning of this suddenly turned into the weekly wrap-up, but...
Well, it's just cool stuff that... I mean, if anybody's watching the weekly wrap-ups, I haven't been able to be there when you record them, so... This is my way of...
And I want to talk about it.
I enjoy hearing all this cool stuff that's coming out.
And there's people who probably listen to this who don't listen to the wrap.
I know. I just say it, but people who listen to both are going to be like, really? We're going to hear this twice?
No, actually, they're like, no, Colin, I'm okay with hearing it again. That's fine. I have no issues with it. I'm not you.
Yeah. Well, you know, whenever I listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast, I'm like, I really hope that the first 10 minutes of this is that other video they did. That's what I hope none of this is new content. But no, I got a message because 2 weeks ago, I don't even know, 3 weeks ago, doesn't matter. I had said something along the lines of, I'd be very surprised if Kim was the one who, I want to say, orchestrated both the paid invites and the promos, but maybe I was just talking about the promos. So maybe someone below who remembers can verify. But on the promos specifically, I got a message from Landon Yun, who is the husband of Svetlana, the owner of Games and Geek. And I won't read the whole message. I couldn't tell if he verified if I could recite the message or not, but I would just say the main points, which was, he said, I probably should have verified. I can't tell if he said this for sure. It sounded like he said he knows from his personal relationship with Japan, not necessarily his relationship with Kim. So I don't know if it's directly from Kim or not. Landon, if you're watching this, just verify below if you can for me. But he said that it was, in fact, Kim, the current CEO of Force Will, his idea to do the promos. That was basically it was a really long message, basically, to say it was Kim. So if that's the case, that's pretty cool. That it seems to me, I was talking to Oscar about this, like maybe he's having a turnaround moment, because in the span of the past month, we've went from not having any paid invite GPs to, granted, it's not a lot of GPs this season, but the ones we do have, besides Vegas, are getting first place paid invites. One of the best entry promo sets that we've ever gotten in Force Will, outside of, like I said, I'll verify, I'll preface once again, my personal preference is alternate arts. That being said, the Ubers are super cool, and I'm fine with that. Apparently I gotta triple preface that, in my personal opinion. But outside of that, being able to get an entry to a GP and just have 8 promos or whatever, was it 7+1 or whatever, plus the playmat, that's probably the best entry pricing that I can think of that we've gotten for a GP.
What playmat?
You get an entry playmat.
There is?
Isn't that what it said on the website?
I don't remember entry playmat.
Now I gotta forget, because if I misstate anything, it's the end of the world.
Which one?
Colin's so salty.
I got it. It's fine. Entry. It does not list the entry. Okay, it does not text list. Text. It doesn't have a text list. It just has images. So whether or not they have a playmat, I guess, is up in the air. But it comes with the 5 Uber promos, a regular promo, and then a mystery promo. and then maybe booster packs.
That's specifically Svetlana run event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's going to be her Minnesota one, or is it Minnesota, right? That she's running. So.
Okay, so it might not have playmats. It might. I'm not sure.
Well, to me, if it doesn't say what's going to be there, and it's not there, it's not going to happen. Like what we have listed is what you're going to be getting. So there's no more entry playmats. This is what I'm trying to get at.
Point is, I'd say roughly 50% of people don't care too much about playmats.
Yeah,
Force Will has sort of been like shilling out the playmats the past year or two. So with the star deck images and stuff, I never cared about that.
I had seen quite a few posts just saying like, "Oh, yep, I'm not gonna be flooded with all these playmats." Cool, because some people just there's too many of them.
Yeah, I got so many playmats, so I'm fine with that. I like actual unique playmats. Like pre-release playmats are usually pretty good, or like alternate art playmats, which we've never gotten Force Will. That's always been ARG that did those. So outside of that, I don't care too much. But so that's cool. But I was saying like we got that with the promos, and also the Ghost in the Shell set potentially having all brand new cards and no reprints or fluff in it, just being a full-on solid set and stuff like that. I was like, I wonder if it seems like he's having a turnaround, because he went from burn it all to the ground essentially of like almost stopping, just sort of just straight up canceling. Well, no, I take that back. They did straight up cancel GPs in Japan and stuff, but outside of that, like all that craziness that happened last year to reinvigorating it, and then feels like maybe getting back on track and stuff like that. And I had mentioned like a long time ago that hopefully this cluster was just them figuring stuff out, and then next cluster is when we'll see that. And I think we might be getting the hints of that with this Ghost in the Shell cluster. Maybe they're starting to figure out what they're supposed to do in AO3 by having the randomized rulers and putting all the cards in there instead of having starter decks. Stuff like that I think is a much better direction to go. So well, now I can't speculate, but I won't speculate. But I'd be. It seems like there was a turnaround at some point.
Real quick, I kind of see an argument though saying of like, well, no, he wasn't burning it to the ground. It was, some precautions made based on the condition of the switch of the company, and he's always wanted this. You know what I'm saying? It's just your wording makes it sound like, oh, he's been against it up to this point, and now he's swooping back up.
He was. No, he was 100%. We know from our interview with Jeff and stuff like that he was one of the people that did not see the benefit of having GPs and stuff like that in America, and just straight up didn't want to have officially company-sponsored ones and stuff like that. So we know he wasn't for it, and when the company switched hands, they fired a crap ton of people, so that immediately alleviates money for them to give, like, at least finish out the stuff that was already promised to people rather than cutting it back and forcing distributors and stuff like that to front the money just so people can have the competition. So it feels like he's like realized, maybe as the head of the company, he sort of looked at stuff and was like, oh, okay, I can finally see the benefit of this stuff and why this helps the game maintain a healthy base and stuff like that, because you get to more excited, more people go to the GPs, which creates more traction and conversations online, more people telling other people about it, and it's basically for the like we've talked about this before, for the cost of whatever several grand or whatever is what you would pay for a cheap ass commercial, and they get way more reach from a GP than a cheap commercial, I think. So I feel like it's just a slow realization over time of like figuring out how to work everything, essentially, from what I understand. But yeah, I just that went a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but just address that real quick.
Speaking of like the GPs and stuff, I had a sudden thought of like, last time we covered this, we speculated about whether or not they were going to be like one day GPs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Do you think Vegas being 2 days like alleviates that? Like I like kind of like makes you guys feel better about it? Like it might be
like the other ones
2 days?
potentially being 2 days.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe like I think what that one had the benefit of is like that convention center existed and was ready to go for 3 full days. You know what I'm saying? So having it on a second day was reasonable. But depending on where they're at on, like, say, Dallas, which is one we know or looked at on the calendar, it shows one day. If they don't have that venue for the 2 days and it's just a 1 day event, or if they're like, hey, we could do a second day for top 8 if y'all want to, give the choice to the players like they really did last time in Vegas, and then hold the rest of it at a local game store like the LGS in Dallas. Like some of those things make a little
That's true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, just top 8 transferring to a local game store day 2. But inside of the convention itself, I think definitely no, because conventions are booked. You can't. Yeah. It's usually hard to do that, but or convention centers, whereas having a space inside of the expo is not that big a deal.
Yeah. Because I personally was tired after my 6 rounds and it was 7 o'clock or something, or 7:30 by then. So I definitely don't know if they could fit another 3 rounds, or is it 4 rounds to finals? Anyways, I mean,
that's
also
only 38
though,
people as well.
Yeah, well, they could also start earlier. Like this. Yeah. They struggled in Vegas because they had to start at 12 because the convention opened at 11. So maybe it'll be different. But yeah, it was just something I was thinking about. I was I wonder if we're still set on 1 day GPs or since Vegas went 2 days, maybe they'll.
Yeah. Well, I think Dallas wouldn't be hard to have another one because there's enough local areas around it to place it, and with Games and Geek running the other two, I could see definitely them potentially already preemptively maybe in the back of their minds planning for 2 days. Just none of the scenarios have day 2 in the convention center because that is, unless you're having unless you're a Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or something like that, there's no reason to have both days inside of the convention center because you're not having a crap ton of side events firing off. You might have a couple, but not enough to warrant how much money it costs to rent out a convention center room. So that definitely makes sense. Top 8 finishing at the locals nearby, which still could be pretty fun because then it gives you a chance to interact with the local game community there and stuff like that, which can be a lot of fun as well. So I think that could be. The only thing is, I hope that they post that on the site to for sure, so people know to buy their hotels and plane tickets for after Sunday if they think that they'll do good and stuff like that. That's the only thing is they need to make sure to do that. But no, that. Honestly, unless you're really big, there's no reason to have both days in the convention center if there are local outlets nearby that are willing to host it.
I missed what y'all were just talking about, but I just want to take a step back real quick because I remember talking about the Ghost in the Shell set that was info that was revealed. We actually had the company post about it, so you can actually visit that on their main website, fowtcg.com. But so it looks like it's a May 1st release, which I was initially thinking it was April, which is when the show comes out, and they're supposed to have a kind of.
But the show's late April, right?
I don't remember if the date was given on the show. I just remember seeing an April release.
Continue talking. I'm looking up.
Okay. The set itself is 78 total cards, which to me was a lot because I was under the interpretation of mini set being the only mini set we've seen was Caster Chronicles mini set. Something this small 20 card set. So to see 78 is what 22 under a full set because usually we're right at about 100, 105 cards for a full set.
I mean,
it just is
how
April,
big was?
Yeah. I was just letting Oscar know. It just says April. Yeah.
Okay. How big was? Oh my gosh. The set. The really bad mini set way back in the day in Grim Cluster.
Oh, MOA?
Yeah. Like
6
how
cards?
many cards?
I don't know.
Because
somewhere around 30.
Because I feel huh?
It was somewhere around 30, 35.
Wow. I'm just thinking since what they would consider like a mini set.
Did you look it up, Colin?
It is 50.
50.
50, so 18 less cards than.
Assuming FOW database is filtering, it's kind of weird with the filter sometimes, but at least printed as 50.
And point being, I feel like it's maybe more akin to something like that, and they're actually finally calling it a mini set, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. 78 cards sounds pretty good.
Well, I mean, this booster box is actually designed for a smaller quantity. MOA was not designed for a small quantity at all.
Yeah, they messed up.
Yeah.
But to me, I thought mini set, the way the casters had the mini set, where it was like a small box that goes for $20. It has like, I don't know, 9 packs or whatever was in there, and that was it. So it's a little easier to buy several of them or something like that. Not a full blown 78 card set where it looks like the box, from what we can tell, is still the same like setup that we have for our current booster boxes. So like not too much is different on that end. And it looks like price is also identical to what we have booster boxes at right now.
And it's funny that you say mini set, because if these are unique cards, this is technically could be the biggest set out of everything in this cluster. If they're all unique cards, it'll straight up be the largest set. Which I'm fine with, but yeah.
Also, secret rares are back. The secret cards is really cool.
So what do you guys think on the secret chase cards? Do you think they're going to be chase cards like other cards from previous things, like they've done before, of like, hey, here's these SRs from the previous set, but all tarts? Or do you think it's going to be chase cards of Ghost in the Shell cards inside of the set, but just like all tarts, or an Uber version, kind of like the promo GP entries?
I think it would be alternate arts for what's in the Ghost in the Shell set.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking... I mean, I don't know. It's just like thinking back, like it could be something like the Vingolf 1 stuff, where like they have like the alternate art of stuff that's in the set, like how Rasputin was like, oh, there's 2 versions of Rasputin, and you could have gotten this. I don't know, like that. Maybe something like that, but like obviously done a little better, since they didn't really like the art for the old Vingolf stuff wasn't very like inspired, like it was kind of like oh, it's all tart, but not really.
I don't know. We'll see what they do, because like if I don't know, like, it depends on which way it goes. Like I'm thinking about like best value, like where it holds. Like if they do old SRs that maybe people had trouble getting, and you're pulling them in this as a secret card. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it'd be more exciting to open the box up and be like, oh, I got this alternate version of Motoko or something like that. Like.
That's my hope, especially, and it also depend on the deal they have. They could be the licensing deal with Ghost Show is it has to be all Ghost in the Show related in the set. Because you might have random people buying it who don't play Force Wheel just for collector's reasons, and so it'd be a little bit disappointing to randomly pull a or several cards that are non-Ghost in the Shell. So I agree that it's probably a high chance that's a Ghost Shell cards, and that would be my hope also, because it'd just be cool to have like different stuff for it.
I mean, it could be like the secret rares are the promos that we've already gotten of Motoko.
Oh, that would be so lame. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
Joey, stop it. Stop talking.
I'm just saying, that wouldn't be super lame. Like, I don't know. Anyways,
Oscar Judge, would that be super
lame? It
would
be. I would not like it.
Okay.
I just want to shoot down Joey's idea really hard. I did write down like some changes it's made since it's a smaller set. Was that there's 17 rares, which is normally 19, and then the SRs is 13, which there's normally 19 as well. Moving to the starter deck, I thought this was interesting. I think it might be just an oversight for how to word it properly, but it did show there's a ruler, 8 resonators, 2 chants, and then it said special magic stones, and said 2. You get 4 of each, and 1, you get 2 of each. But I think the 1 is meaning a basic magic stone. Previous starter decks will actually show special magic stone and then basic magic stone and show that breakdown. Well, this one just said special magic stone and showed both of them underneath the same section. But I think it's 2 basic stones, if I had to guess.
So are you getting a Motoko ruler? Like a Ghost in the Shell ruler?
I would assume it's Motoko, but yeah.
I was listening to the WLTCG podcast today. We're recording a day later than we normally do, but they actually had pretty interesting theories around the set, thinking that and Colin, you know names, they struggled with it for a bit, but who's the boss she reports to?
Oh,
boss man, yeah. Boss man.
He doesn't even know. He has to Google it. They didn't Google it. Well, they figured it out on their own.
I haven't started my rewatch yet. my last experience watching Ghost Shell was the movie, which that movie doesn't really repeat names outside of Major's name at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they say all of Section 9 his name's like once. But
anyways, theories that he could be the ruler, you know, or things like that.
Boo. Shooting down your ideas.
That would actually be kind of cool. Like he's like commanding all of Section 9, because it is kind of weird that you would have a major ruler, and then we've already had 2 cards that are also major, that aren't super like creative with the name of the card. It's not like, oh, Major's Ultra Kick. It's just like, oh, this is major. Also, this is major. It's like, so that would make sense.
Major's Ultra Kick is going to be the sniping from the blind spot of Vingolf or something. Super terrible card.
Oh, is it because they just call the director Chief? I think it's just because they call him Chief. But Daisuke Yamanaki.
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Gosh, I'm actually super excited for my favorite character besides Major is Bato, so I'm excited for his cards.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's going to be like major balance issues that they're going to be introducing?
Major balance.
I'm curious how they'll handle it. Because, I mean, okay, if it's all machines, right? Okay, it's not all machines. They'll probably be humans, but there's a good chunk of machines being introduced. It's like, how much more can you put into a machine deck? You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, I feel like it's going to be kind of interfering with what's trying to run.
Well, I mean, you can always get a better machine cards. Like imagine, in the current machines list, you have, X card, and maybe that card is, the really good Maria Bella's work or something like that. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a 5-cost card and it costs 1 less for each machine you control. Like, they could definitely introduce like Major's jump, and then it's like 3 costs or something, and then it's like 2, 1 less for every machine. I don't know.
You really
I'm saying there's definitely
it's her kick, it's her jump.
There's definitely machine cards they could introduce that just are better than what we already have.
But I think what you're saying, Jay, like the best route would be like go hyper tribal to keep it within sort of for the most part, a bubble, so you don't have to worry about it affecting the outside machine decks and stuff too much.
If they could get it tribal enough to where it actually, instead of like machines, it says like Section 9, like how Vingolf 2 did squads, except not really bad.
I was gonna say I don't want it like Vingolf 2.
I'm just saying, like,
I didn't
like if they fit it so that all the deck kind of runs in its own package and all the cards link with all the other, this set cards. Like, I'm just afraid that we have machines and it's maybe like on the cusp of being super good, and I don't really know how it stands in the meta community like right now, but like a lot of people were playing it in Vegas, and it top 8'd and yada yada. So like if this package is already here and then they start slotting in even better stuff, it's just it could get out of hand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think either they know how they're going to do it and it'll be fine, or it's just going to be, like I said, like just too many things where it's like, does it really influence what already existed, and like how much. I don't think it's going to be like this thing where it's like, oh, here's machines. We saw it here go up a bit, and it's not going to go like skyrocket as a result of this new set. I think I have confidence it'll be okay. We'll see what happens, but
maybe, yeah. I'm just worried that maybe we get like another infinite combo, or we get a better machine card that people start playing, and then then it just puts machines just right on the top or something. But yeah.
So we'll go ahead and wrap up the talk on Ghost in the Shell there, and the last note here was to talk about Vegas. So Vegas GP happened a week ago, pretty much, right? 1 week ago. It feels like it's been longer. And so you two got to go. You guys got to go and check it out, and Joey played. And I just kind of want y'all to give y'all a story and like, especially because I'm sure there's probably somebody listening who's going to go to a GP soon who may not have actually gone to it. So if you guys let us know.
Yeah. Do you want to start, Colin? Do you want me to start?
I guess I can do mine very briefly because I didn't play. I commentated for several rounds and then I had a nope on out. But it was pretty interesting to watch. We had, I think the most common thing, or what was the most common deck? It was Melgus. I don't know why I blanked on it. Melgus, and we also got to see Machines playing stuff. I was surprised by some of the plays by Melgus, especially the 2-turn kill one. Took me by surprise. Unfortunately, didn't get to see the infinite combo by Machines, probably because it's trying to not leave itself open to Melgus. I'd assume so. They have the package in there, but they just never popped it off. But it was definitely really interesting seeing all of it. Although Melgus kept showing up a lot, which was pretty interesting, just because of the amount of them that were there, I'd assume. But Oscar's got the breakdown here. So yeah, Melgus was the biggest show.
Why you put me on the very bottom, Oscar?
That's actually how they put you when they write it off. But I do have the ruler breakdown here for the whole event. It was 10 Melgus, 7 Machina, 4 Loki, 4 Adam, 4 Prussia, 2 Hanzo, 2 Fario, 2 Ices, a Valentina, Lenneth, Brunhild, and a Fuji. And we were lucky enough to be able to get the Fuji to join us on this podcast to talk about his experience at the event. Yeah. You'll hear about that here in a second. But I thought it was interesting because I think I was listening to the. I can't remember where I saw it. I may have saw it somewhere online, but that the Melgus player with the Phantom trick, right? Is that what it was?
Might have. Are you talking about the combo?
Yeah, that.
It might have, yeah.
I just thought it was funny that it was built, but not really something that was noticed. That they didn't realize they could do it till they started playing. I think it was.
Really?
They're like, oh. You know what I'm saying? And then they did it. So it was
that's really
pretty cool thing.
That's hilarious. I said we didn't get to see Joey on stream. He was close to being on stream, but.
I'm kind of happy that I didn't go on stream for that game because I got dicked pretty hard with that Prisha deck.
I think what it was the player he was going to go against just finished playing on the stream the round before.
Yeah, so. Which by the way, who ended up getting first, so I don't really mind losing to him. But yeah, no, it was an ugly matchup. It was.
So go about your day. How did it go? Like you were, pretty nervous. You met up some people.
Oh, I was really nervous. I was like, in my mind, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna drop after 2 games. But also the little glimmer of hope was I'm gonna top 8. I'm gonna bring Fuji in and I'm gonna do it. But anyway, so I pretty much got bye / round win. First, which I think is part of why I got so close to not really that close, but so that was pretty much boring. Sorry. I never realized how many people are kind of scrambling to put together decks at the last minute, which that was also me. I was trying to get Blazers because Colin and Oscar didn't have the cards for me. Because I'd gotten them too late, I guess, to them, even though they totally knew what I wanted. But whatever.
I think mostly too late for Colin. I mean, you did wait till last minute. I have a lot of schoolwork to get done, and I was scrambling to find
You waited till the day before.
Yeah. When we gave him plenty of heads up to give to us earlier.
My cards are not organized right now, so there's just no physical way for me to find certain cards that I may or may not have, but I just have no until I.
His room to the left is just complete chaos.
It was
it's perfectly fine.
We had one guy run out to get 2 cards for his buddy or something, and they were trying to create an entire list for Adam. I think I don't know. It was a little crazy, but yeah, so game 1 was pretty much that. Game 2, I fought the only Lenneth, which I think is another reason why I started out so well, because it was not a super good Lenneth build. I actually think she ended up last place in the whole list. But yeah, so I 2-0'd her, which, I was kind of starting to get the feel of like Fuji, and like, because I had played a little bit, but I hadn't played with with Awakening the Flame King and stuff, and I'd kind of tweaked the deck a little bit, and so I was interested to see how it would play against people. I wish I had been able to test more versus like the best decks, because like I feel like there's like there's like the kind of bottom, there's like the bottom tier of people playing in the GP, and then there's kind of like the top tryhard guys who brought all of the best decks, and so like game 3 I played versus Adam, and it's not a very great matchup for me, for Fuji. Like, I sided in stuff that I thought could help, but the list that I played, because I played Fuji versus Adam in the online league, but that guy wasn't playing. He wasn't playing some of those cards that people have been playing before, like Kaguya. I don't think he was playing Kaguya, but Kaguya was like really difficult because Fuji likes to play on like curve and likes to tap out to do all the stuff, and if you get canceled, then you pretty much kind of lose. And so it was a really, really tough matchup. I got OAT'd really hard. So yeah, that was really, really unfortunate. I didn't have the best hands anyways, but I think there's maybe ways I could have gotten around that. And then the next one I played versus Machines, so I was 2-1 at that point, and that was kind of like the linchpin match, where if I won, I'd be 3-1 and I could maybe get top 8. If I lost, I would be 2-2, and I probably would have left with a Colin. But I ended up playing Machines, and I had a really good game versus Machines, a good matchup. I felt like I played really well. The deck really performed really well versus Machines, and Machines luckily didn't have a whole lot of just crazy destruction stuff or like counters and stuff that a lot of other stuff wasn't running.
That's the game that I spectated you do for a little bit there, and that was it was pretty funny because I sat down because I was.
Go ahead. He's muted for everybody else. We hear you.
Yeah, but it's hard to talk when he's talking. He had I didn't see the whole match, but I saw the final round because I went over there and I was like, okay, I gotta go do this thing, and it was sort of up in the air if Joey was gonna come with me. So I was like, okay, let me go. If he loses this round, he's gonna come with me. If he wins it, he'll stay, type of thing. And he ended up taking freaking forever, so I was late for the thing I was doing. But it was really so hard to talk. But it was super interesting because I was watching him, and it literally got to the point where the machine player was like, okay, Joey had either no board or the machine player killed whatever was left on his board. And the machine player was like, okay, here's this, and I got my regalia, and I got all this stuff going on. I was like, okay, Joey's about to lose. Cool, he'll come with me. And then Joey with his little Fuji deck was like, all right, I'm going to play Genshi, and then which will allow me to play this for one, which I'll destroy your regalia, and then I'll play it again for one, destroy this, and then I'll Judgment and search for my dragon. When I enter the field, it'll burn this for this, and completely clears the machine player's field. I was like, oh wow, that Fuji deck actually did something against the new machine type 0 deck. So, I was like, oh geez. So I was like, I literally saw. I was like, okay, and I was just like, all right, I'll see you later tonight, Joey. I gotta go. Have fun.
It was a really cool last 3 turns of a play. By the way,
it was a big comeback. Yeah.
The guy is probably gonna be here in 5 seconds. So yeah, I'll be right.
But yeah, so that was the fun one. I'm glad I got to at least witness that match with Joey, because I had written Joey off completely at a certain point, and Joey just turned that around and then just won. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But Yeah, and so I didn't catch what his last couple games how they went because after that point I was gone. But
Right.
it was cool just like being there also and being able to see everyone. I got to meet some people who watch the channel as well, which is always really cool. And I enjoy commentating as well, although I was a little less on top of it as I would have liked to have been this time around. But that happens with very last minute flights and stuff like that. I literally there was no flights for certain times. It was like set times for both Friday and Monday when I came back, so it was pretty unfortunate, but
no,
it was a lot of fun. I hope to do it more.
I could imagine that it was a good time. I was like because I'm not there and I'm watching the stream at home and working on homework and like, man, I really wish I had gone. I wonder what's going on. I was kind of hoping you're going to film a vlog so we can kind of see y'all's experience while in Vegas and kind of fun things you got to do like outside of even the game and just because Vegas.
I'd started filming some stuff at the beginning, but then after doing it for a little bit, I was like, I mean, it's a good thing I didn't because I just wasn't doing Force of Will stuff long enough, I think, to warrant that to be a Force of Will vlog. But sadly, I was like, I just want to, like, I've been just like doing so much stuff recently. I was like, I just want to like enjoy it and not have to worry. Not that it's like I enjoy filming stuff, but I just did it. I'm all constantly like doing video related stuff, so I was like, I just want to. 2 days enjoy Vegas and stuff like that, and I'm sure I think we'll probably do some vlog related thing when Joey comes out to visit.
I think
we kind of started getting wrapped up in like a lot of other stuff, and we kind of started doing like other stuff, so kind of like snowballed into not doing any vlogs or podcasts or anything. Which
Joey and I barely had time to even hang out, let alone like film stuff. Like,
well, because my thing was like, I was gonna drop around like
he did too good
3:30ish, and then we were gonna go around and tour the convention, and we were gonna go to like 3 or 4 panels and stuff, and we're gonna actually enjoy the convention. Instead, I got stuck playing Force of Will for like 7 hours, which was enjoyable. It was very fun. It was very nice being called the People's Champion on stream.
That's right.
And having people like, Fuji is 3-1, and it's like, well, okay, guys. Fuji is only 3-1 because he got really easy matchups at the beginning. Do not look behind the curtain. But yeah. So I was really excited after beating machines. I was like, okay, all right, maybe I'm gonna be on stream. I was like pretty nervous, and then I faced Priscia, and let me tell you, that shit took me for a fucking loop. It was like badoop badoop badoop. He's a 10-10 turn 2, and I was like, well, I can't burn a 10-10. Like, I started getting to like points where it's like oh, turn 3, and they've got like 3,000 power worth of stuff on the board, and oh my god, the guy played Magna, and he searched out 2 moles, and the 2 moles searched out 2 wind regalias. And the two moles are also now like 9/9s or something, and they're like 300 base power. Oh, it was insane. I was like, all right, buddy. Like, I thought maybe I could have a good matchup versus this because Fuji deals pretty decently with resonator based decks because I actually do okay with like destroying them with damage. But this wasn't the case for Priscia because he had Burning Rush, and that gives like plus 1,000 defense, and it's like, and then also just friendship counters. They were like huge 1,300. It was nasty. So yeah, I got smacked around pretty good by Priscia, which wasn't too bad. So then I was 3-2, and I was like, yeah. I was 3-2, and so it's kind of like, well, if I go 4-2, I actually might be able to end up in, like I'd be, like, I think I was right on the bubble,
the bubble,
somewhere around there, maybe on the lower half of the bubble. But anyways, so then I fought Isis last, and I thought I could have maybe a good matchup, but I remember playing Oscar once with Fuji and Isis, and it didn't go too well. And this one didn't go too well either. Isis just has too much burn, and Fuji doesn't really protect the like dragons or your resonators too well. So yeah, and you know, I couldn't really deal with his aggro. Whenever I tried to burn like Nyarlathotep or like I think I tried to burn Isis once, and he played Athenia's Love, right? And it's like, okay, so I have a Eternal now. Oh, and I can cast that on my turn. And so it's kind of nasty. Definitely, I was trying to like burn stuff, and it's like I couldn't burn Nyar because it's like I was trying to get rid of the guy's resources, his like moon resources. Sorry. And I just couldn't keep up I couldn't keep up with how much he was producing and what he was doing. So it just ended up, I think it went 0-2 and just couldn't get there. So that crushed my dreams of, my GP, but it's pretty fun.
That's cool.
I swear I was like, I felt so close. And
No, yeah, I know the feeling. So question is, like, given plenty of playtesting, would you have still run Fuji going into that? Had you had plenty of just time to figure things out?
Oh. If I could have playtested a lot, like, thoroughly, and I could get past my own sense of, like, oh, I want to be different, and I want to bring cool decks and, like, crazy decks to the GP and then top 8, and I'll be, like, a living legend. If I got past that, little thing, like, I definitely probably would have brought Priscia, or, like, going into it, if I had my way, I probably would have brought Priscia or Valentina. Probably Valentina, because I felt like, looking at what she had, I loved all the, like, bouncing stuff and, like, control package that she had, but, we never tested it or anything. And so, since I never got around to doing that, I just took what I was most comfortable with, because that was, I feel like, the only way to really go to that GP. And, like, scramble together, like, we didn't really I don't know if we had, like, the cards to put together something like a Valentina list.
I mean, that's something I'd recommend anyways, like, to anybody going to a larger event like that, like Ramen or GP, is, like, if you didn't get the work in to play test with a certain deck, and then you're thinking about playing it just because it's the best one, may not mean you're going to do the best, but you could even do better with something that you're just more familiar with, that you know inside and out, like the way Joey knew Fuji. Like, who knows, if he had ran Valentina or even Priscia, since that was one event, you don't have that guaranteed that you would have gone 3-3, you could have gone even worse.
I think even a better Fuji list, or like, I still am very salty that Fuji doesn't get his dual stones yet, so that I have to like, I had a couple of turns where, like, playing Genshi like 2, even maybe 3 turns late is just really, really bad, and it feels bad. Like, if you can't play Genshi on curve, then you're gonna have a really difficult time. And not having dual stones really hurts that.
Well, it looks like you might get the dual stones soon next set, because we saw the playmat kind of spoiler for the next set, which usually shows the 3 rulers for the what's coming up, and we saw Reflector Frame on there, who looked to be blue-red. So you might get those dual stones soon.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play Fuji because I'm going to be playing Reflector Frame.
There's actually...
I'm really excited.
A good point on Reflector Frame that the guys over on WTCG podcast were talking about, where they're figuring out what it's going to do on each side. And Roderick brought up a good point. It's like, oh, wait, it's not one on one side, one on the other. They're both shown in the same image. So they're going to share that side together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
interesting.
Well, yeah, because that would be 2 pieces of art.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see.
Just like Photoshop files, like ones and one layers. Like, we took that one out, and then there's the other one.
But anyways, like, I would have liked, like, once I got there, once I started getting into, like, a more competitive mindset and started playing a lot more, and, like, started being, like, playing versus real people, I was like, man, now I wish I had, like, tried harder at this, and now I wish I had brought like a better deck, and I brought a more competitive deck. And so that's why going into Dallas and the whole Vite Ramen thing, we Oscar and I are gonna be trying a little bit harder. But especially like Fuji, like even playing my deck, it's like, oh, you know what? I think there's different avenues I can take this down, and like I hadn't tested Fuji as much with like some of the new some of the new stuff, and I feel like I kept feeling like I had too many dragons. Like I liked having them as like special tech that I could grab, like Neo Berserk Dragon, but I never grabbed him. So it's like, why was he even there? I just drew him, and then and they're really dead cards. Like if you have the dragons in your hand, they're pretty awful. They're pretty much only good with Dragon Flame summoning. But yeah, just stuff like that where if I had I wish I had prepared a little bit better for it. Maybe I could have beaten Adam, for example. If I misplayed versus Adam too, because I tried to play my Master Rune and it got Kaguya. And I was like, wait, no, you can't cancel Kaguya. It's not a chant. It's not a spell, but it's obviously a spell. And so, it's just super rusty, and I made a bad play. And that killed an entire turn, my Master Rune, and like a lot of board presence that I could have had. So just stuff like that is just like, maybe I could have done something after that happened. But
yeah.
But it was fun. That was my GP, though.
Any advice for anybody who might be wanting to attend their first GP? Since this was your first GP, like any bits of you want to throw in?
I mean, I think the most important thing, like, it really depends on what you're going for. If you're going to win and like try and top 8, bring what's considered like the best deck, get a lot of rotation, get a lot of play in with that deck, know what that deck does, and actually like practice matchups and stuff. Like if you're trying to actually like top 8, if you want to go and like this is maybe your first GP, then still bring a deck that you're familiar with, but there's a lot of other advice, like make sure you have maybe snacks, water. I think I ended up asking Jeremy for a water because I was because I think Colin had gone, and I was like, it's just there's so much like so little time you have between rounds, and it's like I couldn't go, so Jeremy was super helpful there, and like have dice, have like definitely do a pad of paper and pen or pencil for life totals. I don't agree with like spin down dice or apps so like if you have a judge call, for example, like you want to be able to track, like, okay, well, I had him at 40, then 36 because I attacked with this, 32 because I attacked with this again, like 28, 27, and then I had him at 20, and then it's like, oh wait, you're forgetting this, and it, like that is invaluable to the actual game state, and like you comparing with notes of what your opponent has, like, oh, I have you at 30. Oh no, I had myself at 25. Well, you missed the damage 2 turns ago from this. It's like, okay, it's just there's a whole lot of stuff, like a lot of like mechanics, I guess. Like know how to shuffle, present your deck. Like that's all the most important stuff for your first GP. Once you've kind of gone to like 1 or 2 tournaments and you've played enough and you're comfortable, then you can start like actually practicing and like bring in your best deck and bring in your best self. But yeah.
Connell, you're falling asleep on us.
No, I'm not. Don't worry. I check out some stuff.
Yeah, another super cool part. I got to meet a lot of cool people and see them for the first time.
You got to meet Jeremy for the first time, right?
Yeah, I met Jeremy for the first time. I met Cal, who was gracious enough to lend me 2 of the Blazers. I met Jerry was his nickname, and he gave me the other 2 of Blazers, which was super cool. And yeah, there's just a lot of cool people.
Yeah. I mean, you can open up the door to your locals, right? Because then there's some people in California who want to maybe get stuff started even in the LA area. We will definitely see about that.
I'm like this. This kind of got me like reinvigorated a little bit.
I had a feeling
thinking about Forcible,
which is also
but
why
it's
like immediately after the event, I'm like, so you're going to Dallas, right? And you're like, we'll see. I think I'm gonna try. I was like, whoa, okay.
Well, it's like I got a little taste of like competitiveness and just like oh man, I was so close, and I got just so close with the Fuji deck, and I was like, man, if I had just brought something a little bit better, because like Fuji was passable enough to beat some of the maybe to luck out versus some of the lower decks. But it really is like at the end of the day, it really is like a tier 1.5 deck or a 1.8 deck. I just don't think it has what it takes to get, because once you start doing well, you face the actual top 8 deck lists, like how I face Prisia, and then they just stomp all over you, and you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like I did super good against this other deck, but this deck just did 5 more things, and I died.
Well, I'm glad you had fun going. I'm glad you had a good time meeting everybody. Colin got to commentate amongst other things. And going to Dallas, I already have my invite for the Vite Ramen thing. So you guys can get top 8, so y'all can get y'all's invite. And then we go to California on a trip. And we can all go to that, the invite that Vite Ramen holds, whenever that ends up being. I forget, like August sometime.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Should be fun. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And thank you everybody for listening and hanging out. And
Yep.
we'll see y'all next time. Bye.